Hey guys, J77 here doing another flashback review, and the movie I'm going to be talking about is Oh God, starring George Byrne and John Denver. Now, before I start, I want to let you guys know that I had the pleasure of listening to some of the old RKO tapes of George and Alan, and believe me, I was laughing my ass off. It is a funny tape. I actually enjoy listening to them, comedic roles, as well as Jack Benny and even Johnny Carson for that matter. It had a very few selected, but it had a lot of George and Alan when they was doing their comedy skit, and I actually enjoyed it. I got involved with George Byrne through my mom. And my grandmother, they watched most of his movies, and I watched with him, and I enjoyed some of the films. And then there's other films that I was a little bit in the missed category, but for different reasons. Oh God, I saw on television, as well as the sequel. I saw all three of them, and my feelings on them are a bit mixed, each one of them, and for the following reasons. Let's go on to the first film, Oh God. Oh God stars John Denver. John Denver is a family man. He's a non-Christian guy, but he's a good guy. He's a guy who loves his family, raised his family right. He's an honest store manager. He works at this supermarket. He's very honest. He don't want to rip off people. He has a very good demeanor, and his character was developed nicely. I actually like the way they did the character. One night, he was talking to his wife about things, and he gets a message saying that God wanted to speak to him. Now, at first, he brushed it off. He didn't think anything of it. He just, flip it aside, saying, "Sorry, God, I can't, get it. I can't talk to you right now." That and the fact that they made it very clear that he's not a Christian. He's not religious. But then he finds out that brushing off God is not an option. This message starts following him to the point where he now has to pay attention to it. I believe he goes to this place where to this room, and there's really nothing there but one of those voice intercoms. Those intercoms that they use for Charlie's Angels and TV show, same com, and he's talking through God through there. You hear George Byrne, and I gotta tell you that when I heard George Byrne, there was like a demanding presence with him. He wasn't screaming and yelling, but when he was speaking, it automatically grabbed my attention because it really did sound like him. Things started happening. He still is not grasping this actually happened to him, and God visited him again while he was in the shower. George Byrne was speaking to him, and one of the memorable lines I actually remember him was George said, "Come on, I need to talk to you," and he said, "I can't. I got no clothes on." He said, and he repeats by saying, "Do you think I care about what you got? I know what you got already." I don't know why I invented shame, but for some reason I find that very amusing because. It's something about that line that really grabbed my attention. Yeah, why did you invent the shame? Because why should we be ashamed? But it did bring a more humorous moment for me. And he finally meets God, and he's a little bit surprised that God is actually this old man that's standing in front of him. And he started asking questions, and one of the things I was very intrigued was he said, "How come you didn't flew in my bed?" And he said, "Hollywood, next question, please," which I find it funny because a lot of people have that aura about God, and seeing him like this is a little bit not what they can expect. But he also did explain why he allows suffering in the world, and he explained very respectfully in a George Byrne manner that he didn't create suffering, man did, and that's why he gave his job. He gave everybody the choice to decide for themselves, and blah blah blah. But basically what he's saying is, I'm not going to interfere with your life. I'm going to observe and watch and let you guys decide whether you pick this path or that path. I have mixed feelings on that. I'll explain later, but let me move on. In short, John Denver's character is pretty much being like God's representative. He's going to spread the word that God still exists. He's going to, supposed to be talking about God and everything else. And he's doing fine with it, especially after being convinced that he is God when it rained in his car. And he started doing things that pretty much that makes him look like he's crazy. But he does what God does. He does spread the word. And that leads up to a lot of things which ticked me off a little bit. It leads him to have his kids not really trying to keep his distance from him because they think he's crazy. His wife is going overboard. He's getting a lot of attention. That some is good because he's been invited to like talk shows and talk about things, and they are drawing a picture of what God looks like, which in reality God already told him that if you really looked at me, what I am, what I truly am, your mind would never comprehend. In other words, it may kill him, and he makes that very clear during their conversations. But one thing that really became the climax is when he's taking on this corrupt reverend, who pretty much is like a con artist. That's what he is. And when I see him, this guy, and this is related to me, by the way, is memories of places I used to go that used to be just like him. So I'm very, very much aware of what that character was. Even before he even came on, even before he started speaking, I pretty much know what happened. Well, anyway, he attacks him, which leads him to go to court, which led to all other shenanigans because they want to put him away. They want to put him in all, to a crazy house or jail. And it took George Byrne, God, to represent himself. He did a few tricks which I was actually found impressive. The judge was like surprised about this, and the one scene that definitely caught everybody's attention when he disappeared, when he walked away from the chair. He's speaking, but there's nobody there standing there, and he just leaves the courtroom, and that pretty much cleared him of being even sent to jail. He sees God one last time. They said their goodbyes, and pretty much the film ends with God just disappearing into the light. I'm gonna tell you right now. I know it was a bit brief because I'm trying not to make this too long, but I'm gonna be very straight up with you guys. The performance of George Byrne and John Denver was great. I actually liked the chemistry of this movie. They really worked it well. I was never bored when they interacted. The film pacing was okay, but I had a problem with this film as a whole. I did have a problem, and this is one of the main problem is John Denver lost almost everything in this movie, and in the end, he didn't get any much reward. I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds a little bit greedy, especially with a film like this. But God had put him through a lot of stuff, and in the end, he didn't really get any satisfaction from it. He almost lost his family. He almost lost the respect of his children. He lost his job, so now he's pretty much unemployed. And all he gets is a thank you from God. And I was kind of, you put this guy through a lot of stuff. You could at least you can do is make sure get his job back or make him be financially secure, because now he's basically his future is pretty much uncertain right now. And that's how I got from that God has just forced this guy to do his stuff to make sure that that he's around, to spreading the word, spreading the gospel. And yet, in the end, he really didn't get anything out of it, except that now pretty much he's in God's favor. And again, I know that sounds kind of like selfish, but hey, I'm just calling like I can see it. I felt that I had a little bit of a problem with that, a little bit, especially since he already said himself that he doesn't really interfere in people's lives, and that he allows them to make the choice for them. Okay, that's cool. So why do you need him to represent you? That always bothers me about you. You are a powerful guy. I'm sure you can do fine by representing yourself, but instead you allow the guy who already is a good, honest man, who is very well respected by his friends and his family and his co-workers, and you allow him to go through this roller coaster ride. That bugged me out a little bit. That really did bug me out, because it gave me the wrong impression of what they was trying to represent, their representation of what God is. So I really did have a problem with that. Overall, the performers are good. I say again, the performance is good. The script was okay. It's just as the film goes down, I'm like, is he gonna get rewarded for this? Is he what really is he is gonna what good is gonna give him in the end of the day? I want you guys to tell me about that because I'm really concerned about that. That was the only thing. I saw this film 3 times on video, and I saw it again just a few days ago. So I really want you guys to tell me what really did he gain from that. Please speak your mind about that, because that was the only thing that bugged me out about this whole entire movie. Did not like the ending. I'm sorry. The ending really ruined this film for me in terms of giving it a high rating. But for what it's worth, I really did like George Burns' acting of God. He was this performance was very strong. I actually believe he was God at one point. I said, okay, he's an actor. Calm down. John Denver was good, but like I said, the way they presented him as a whole, the way they presented that film as a whole, it left me with a little bittersweet, because I felt that John Denver's character was a nice enough man. He deserved better. He didn't deserve all that hoopla for nothing. I mean, that's my feeling about that, and that's where I'm going to stick with it. But nothing pretty much ticked me off than the sequel to follow. And I actually thought that was the better movie than the first one, but nothing pissed me off more than the second one. And I'll talk about that another time. But until then, at a scale of 1 to 4, I didn't rate this film when I first saw it, because I was small when I first saw it. When I saw it again, I was wanting to wait and see how I feel. Now that I saw it just a couple days ago, I can actually safely say that this film, it gets a very respectable, not bad, but could have been better 2.5 stars. Like I said, the ending really was the breaking point for me, because out of all that stuff, I felt they could have done a better job of at least rewarding him, rather than have him lose his job, almost lost many of his friends, making him look like a crazy loony guy, than just being a guy who's really wanted to spread the word and say that God is still out there. He's in people's thoughts and prayers. I think they went about it a little bit wrong of how they made God like a selfish moron a little bit the way it is. But like again, you guys who saw this film probably disagree. That's cool. I just felt the ending could have done a whole lot better. So 2.5 stars with that. What do you think about this film? Have you seen it? Do you believe that this film was good? Do you even got the film? Do you even got the whole trilogy? So let me know. I'd like to hear from your feedback on the matter. Until then, this is J77 saying see you guys next time.